So good morning. Welcome back to ABC Yoga. We actually have our Bill back. I'm Amy, Bill in the background, and of course we may see an occasional cat. So we're going to get started this morning in a seated position. Just find those sits bones. So just jiggle till you find that equanimity in the body. Hands supported on your thighs. Beautiful tall spine. Crown of the head reaching high. And just take these first initial breaths to just allow yourself to settle in. Opening up all of our senses. And taking a quick body scan from the crown of the head all the way throughout the body. Just notice where there's some gripping, some holding. See if you can soften there. Root. Let go. And we unhinge our jaw. Swallow a few times. And then drawing our attention to our breath together, let's take a full inhalation. Sip in the breath, open up the mouth, just gently let it go. Two more like that. We breathe in. Mouth open, exhale. One more full inhalation. Mouth open, exhale. Then we'll seal our lips. Good morning, Tanya. Let's just flutter our eyelids open this morning. With our hands rested on our thighs, we're going to keep our chin level and just begin to open up our chest area. So on an inhale, we reach our heart forward. On an exhale, we curl back, round those shoulders. So we move in, open up that chest, exhale, rotate back. Chin is level. Inhale, exhale. Breathe in, breathe out. Let's take three more here. Heart reaches forward. We exhale, round. Breathe in, breathe out. One more. Inhale, exhale, come back to neutral, and let's just start our seated rolls. So again, our heart, as we reach forward, we inhale, we exhale, curl around. Our sits bones are rooted, and you're in charge of how wide you're making that circle, how big you're making that circle. So maybe slow it down, investigate some tight areas, or just keep that fluid moving as you circle just a couple more times in this direction. You can always add your head. It's a little hard to talk adding my head and twisting around. So one more time. And we'll come back to neutral and go the other direction. Really exploring the outer edges of that circle, rounding, really connecting with that ujjayi breath, that victorious breath in and out through the nose. You can add the shoulders if you wish. Keep rooted in those sits bones. Again, maybe explore taking that head around. We'll take one more direction here. Beautiful, and we'll stop in the center. Let's bring the soles of our palms together and add some friction. Warming up those hands and taking the heels of our hands at our eyes. Take a full breath in. Let it go. And again, softening our eyes from the seeing world here, allowing ourselves to just take a exploration inside. And gently open up those eyes, clap your hands, and again, we'll take one more hand rub, getting that friction nice and hot. And then taking our hands at our heart center, breathe in here, breathe out. And we set our intention or our prayer for our practice, that mantra, whatever, just comes right up to the surface. Just acknowledge that. Nice, and we'll flutter our eyelids open. Let's come onto our hands and knees. Good morning, everyone. So we'll just bump our hips side to side. We're going to do a lot of heart and leg work this morning. So let's draw our knees in towards our center line. We'll extend that right leg. We'll bend that right knee, flex the right foot, and add some little pulses here. So try not to keep that one hip up, but hips are level. We're warming up those hamstrings for 4, 3, 2, on 1, we'll take the knee to our shoulder. We lift and then cross. Take your gaze over that right shoulder, over the left shoulder to that right heel. Those ribs fan open. And again, we lift up, shoulder, up, cross, and look. 3 more like that. We breathe, reach, lift, cross. We're rooting through our hands. We're fanning those ribs open. We'll take 1 more on this side. We lift, up, cross. Beautiful. And then just take those knees back to the floor. Bump your hips side to side. Beautiful. And we'll take the other side. So we walk those knees in towards one another. Please extend that left leg. Lift it up and bend the knee. Flexing that left foot and pulsing here. So our right shin is rooted. Our hands are directly underneath our shoulders. Spread your fingers wide. Warming up those hamstrings. Nice. And now we'll take the left side. So we draw the knee to the shoulder. We lift it, cross it, gaze over the right shoulder. Look at that left heel and fan those left ribs open. Beautiful. We lift, shoulder, lift, and cross. 3 more. We're breathing, reaching, lifting, and opening the body. Connected to the breath, crossing. 1 more. We lift, shoulder, lift, and cross. And then just take those knees back towards one another. And we'll begin our cat-cows. So exhaling the air out, rounding that back body, press the shins and hands into the floor. And then we reach our heart forward, open up those collarbones, eyes high. Our navel draws in, round that back body. Sip in that inhalation, eyes towards the sky. On the exhale, our tail tucks under, round that back body. Breathe in, exhale. 1 more like this. We reach our eyes high. We tuck our tail, draw that navel in, come back to neutral. And then we're going to do a chest roll. So you're just bringing your chest to the right, draw it down to the floor. We lift it up and around. So you can add those elbows. And again, you're in charge of how big this chest roll is. So maybe take it slow, bringing out the sleep this morning. And then we'll change directions. So let that belly be soft, round that back body. Moving the rib cage, massaging our internal organs. As we warm up the body, let's take 1 more revolution. We'll come back to neutral. Tuck those toes under, lift the sits bones. Nice. And then take a stance the width of your mat with your feet. Walk those hands back towards your toes. Ringo's on a warpath this morning. Bend those knees, find opposite elbows. And just let that head be nice and loose, shifting side to side. I think they're feeling the effects of that full moon that last night. Gorgeous moon. So shake out that head. And keeping your feet that width of your mat, we'll take a slight bend in the knees. Take your hands around to the back body. Interlace your fingers if it's available. Maybe just use a strap. And let's open up those shoulders. Shake out that head. And we'll take a bend in that left knee. Draw your chin towards that shin. Then a bend to the opposite knee. And one more time each side. Our toes are spread wide. Our head is nice and loose. And we'll take our last side, chin towards that right shin. We'll come back to neutral, find a deep bend in those knees. Find that halfway lift. Opposite thumb on top, beautiful. Navel draws in and up towards the spine. We take the crown of the head towards the floor. Try to open up those shoulders, pulling them away from our back body. So our weight goes into our heels. So take weight into the balls of the feet. Keep those knees as bent as you need to. Shake out that head. And again, we'll take a deep bend in that left knee. Draw your chin towards the shin. Then we'll find the other side, right shin. Our chin is reaching towards that right shin. And one more deep bend to the left. Deep bend to the right. Shake out that head. Nice, release your hands. And we'll walk our hands forward into that downward dog. So pedaling out those feet, opening up the arches of the feet. Beautiful. And then we find our stillness in our downward dog here. Eyes towards the back of the mat. We externally rotate those shoulders. Draw that energy up through the hands and through the feet. And we'll keep our hands where they are. Just walk those toes towards the top of the mat. We find that halfway lift. Beautiful. Fold forward on the exhalation, crown of the head towards the floor. 3 more. Warming up those hamstrings. Our heart reaches forward. We soften and let go on the exhale. Last 2, we breathe in. And we breathe out. Last halfway lift. Open up those collarbones. Soften the knees, crown of the head towards the floor. Then ride that breath all the way up. Full inhale. Cactus those hands. And inhale. And forward fold, Uttanasana. Eyes towards the back of the mat. We find that halfway lift. Let's step back into high plank to low plank. And come all the way down. Bill's getting his extra push-ups in. Untuck those toes, draw those elbows in. We just find that baby cobra. Feet are rooted, crown of the head towards the floor. Let's take one more like this. We inhale, draw those elbows in, crown of the head towards the floor. Then explore, let's take our hands out to the outer edge of our mat. We're on our finger pads, and we find just maybe a little extra lift in that, in that baby cobra. Crown of the head towards the floor. No straining. We'll take one more like that, just exploring. Maybe a little extra lift for some of you. Soften those shoulders. Beautiful. Crown the forehead to the floor. Hands in line with your chest. We tuck our toes in. Press through high plank. Engage that core. Beautiful. Downward dog. Eyes towards the back of the mat. Inhale that right leg high. Bending that right knee. Stacking the hips. Yawn that knee a little higher. Now turn your chest to the floor. Beautiful. We extend that right leg. And let's find a low lunge. Right foot forward, left leg behind. Hands on either side of that front foot. And we'll open up those ankles, shifting the weight backwards and forwards. One more breath here. On an exhale, hands to the floor. Just step that right leg back into high plank. And we'll find downward dog, eyes towards the back of the mat. The inhalation initiates that left leg high. We bend the knees, stack the hips. Yawn that left knee a little higher. Now that left shoulder comes up. So turn your chest towards the floor. And from that chest level towards your mat, now lift that left knee a little higher. Beautiful, nice breathing, Bill. We extend that left leg and step it forward into that low lunge again. Find that scissor action in your hips. That right heel is drawing towards the back of the mat. And again, we just shift the weight backwards and forwards, opening up our ankles, maybe even lifting those left toes as you shift that weight backwards. And then pause here, step that left leg back. We find that high plank and we'll lower down to low plank. So we'll do this in that same baby Cobra warm up. So first time, just keep your hands by your shoulders, draw those elbows in, tops of the feet root. We just lift from the back of our heart, forehead down. Inhale, we lift, and we gently lower. Then finding the finger pads, you're outside the corners, the sides of your mat. We inhale, maybe find a little extra lift. We soften those shoulders, that navel is engaged, and we slowly lower forehead to the floor. One more like that. We lift and we lower. Toes tuck under. We find our high plank, engage that core, beautiful. Downward dog on the exhalation. Our right leg lifts. We bend the knee and stack the hips. Extend that right leg. Let's find our warrior one. Begin to flow this morning. Left heel on that 45-degree angle. Big breath in, extend. Maybe connect the soles of the palms together. And we'll slowly lower our hands to the floor. Right leg back. Your vinyasa, high to low. A cobra or up dog. Beautiful downward dog, exhale. Our left leg lifts. We bend the knee, stack the hips. Extend that left leg and lightly step it forward into our warrior one, and we rise. Our heart is lifted. Maybe the soles of the palms connect, and we'll cycle through our vinyasa. So it's just a slow flow this morning, moving the breath throughout the body, getting rid of those sleep cobwebs, and finding that connection with our breath. Gentle breathing in and out through the nose. We're always working on that equal inhalation as our exhalation. Let's take one more breath in. Exhale it completely. Bend the knees. You can step, hop, or just walk to the top of the mat, finding that halfway lift. Fold forward, Uttanasana. Then let's ride that breath all the way up. We'll cactus those hands. Our heart is lifted. Full inhale. And melt forward, Uttanasana. Eyes towards the back of the mat. We find that halfway lift. Step or jump those feet back. High to low plank. A cobra or upward dog. Beautiful. Downward dog, exhale, eyes towards the back of the mat. That right leg lifts. We bend the knees, stack those hips. Our right leg is extended, and we step it forward lightly into that warrior one. Ride that breath all the way up, and then we'll blossom into warrior two. Pause here, sit into those hips. Soft eye gaze over those right middle fingers. So your head is not lifting or reaching to the hand, your head is level. Soften those shoulders, and let's everyone go a little deeper into those hips, tracking that right knee over the right ankle. Take another full breath here. On an exhale, our hands to the mat. Beautiful, right leg back, high to low. Cobra or up dog. Downward dog, exhale, eyes towards the back of the mat. Left leg lifts. Step it forward, or bend the knees, stack the hips. We extend that left leg, step it forward, finding warrior one. Inhale, reach those arms up and over. Maybe they connect the soles of the palms, and then we'll open into warrior two. Pause here. Left knee tracking over the left ankle. You broaden through the collarbones. Soft eye gaze over the left middle fingers. And notice if your head is reaching. You want that chin level, shoulders sliding down the back. Hug those muscles to the bones. Engage all those muscles. Let's sit a little deeper. Beautiful. Our vinyasa. Hands to the mat, left leg back, high to low, cobra or upward dog. We'll meet in downward dog. Pause and breathe. Back of the neck lengthens. Just feel the breath in the body. That expansion with each inhalation, the releasing, letting go, relaxing on the exhalation. Please take one more inhale here. We let that go. The knees bend. We step, jump, or hop to the top. Beautiful. Halfway lift. Forward fold, Uttanasana. Slight bend in the knees as we inhale, right all the way up. Little cactus those hands again. Our heart is lifted. Shake out that head. Full breath in and melt forward, Uttanasana. Halfway lift. Step or jump those feet back. High to low. Elbows hug in a cobra or upward dog. Downward dog. Exhale, eyes towards the back of the mat. That right leg lifts. We bend the knee and stack those hips. The right leg extends. Lightly step it forward, finding that warrior one. We ride that breath all the way up. Nice. We open into warrior two. Now let's reverse our warrior on the inhale. Left hand snakes behind into that right hip crease. Now keep that right knee tracking forward. Fan those right ribs open. Gaze towards the outer edge of that left foot. One more inhale. On an exhale, your vinyasa. Hands to the floor. Right leg back. High to low. Cobra or up dog. Beautiful. Downward dog. Exhale. Left leg lifts. We bend the knee, stack those hips. Extend that left leg and find our warrior one. Big breath in, arms reach up high, soles of the palms maybe connect. We open into our warrior two. Now let's reverse our warrior. Right hand takes that left hip crease point, drop into those hips. Find the outer edge of that back leg. Those left ribs are fanning wide open. Beautiful, then your vinyasa. Hands to the mat, left leg back. Add extra push-ups, maybe explore a three-legged vinyasa. Our heart lifts on the upward dog. And we'll always meet in downward dog. Pause and breathe. And as a reminder, child's pose is available to us at any time. So maybe you didn't sleep well last night, you're dealing with an injury. Just take your child's pose when you can reconnect with your breath. Just join us in whatever posture. So again, that right leg lifts. We bend the knee and stack those hips. That right leg extends. We step it forward into our warrior one. Inhale, our heart is lifted. Soles of the palms maybe connect. We open into our warrior two. Reverse the warrior on the inhale. Find that eye gaze towards the outer edge of that back foot. Let's come back through warrior two and take the forearm on the thigh, the left arm up and over. So let's rotate those shoulders here. And let's change direction. Finding that breath. And pause with that left hand on a diagonal over the ear. Turn the pinky towards the floor. Now let's take that right hand off the thigh. So you can let it dangle, maybe lift it up towards that upper hand. Find that breath. We'll blossom into warrior two. Nice, now your vinyasa. Hands to the floor, that right leg back. Take your time. You can always skip the vinyasa. Meet us in downward dog. Or again, make that vinyasa your own. Add extra push-ups, whatever you need to do. Whatever you want to get out of your practice. Left leg lifts. We bend the knee, stack the hips. Left leg extends. We step it forward into warrior one. Find that rootedness. Big breath in, arms reach up and over. And we'll open into our warrior two. Drop into those hips, soften those shoulders, reverse. Beautiful. We find our way back into 2, and then forearm on thigh, right arm up and over. So there's that beautiful line of energy, and we'll just start to rotate the shoulder around. Softening through the toes. Notice what's touching the mat. So we're really rooting. Beautiful, and we'll change direction. Enjoying that breath. Exploring just the reaches of our shoulders. Does that make sense? Beautiful, and we'll just keep that right hand over the ear. And trying to avoid putting too much weight on that left thigh. Maybe just let that hand dangle. You're enjoying that core action, or maybe find that left hand to reach. You've got that imaginary beach ball that you're holding. Those thighs are finding those sensations now. Beautiful. We'll open up into warrior 2. Nice work. Vinyasa. Hands to the floor, left leg back. Take your time, high to low. Cobra or upward dog. Downward dog, eyes towards the back of the mat. So we externally rotate those shoulders here. Our downward dog is another resting posture, but a great time to find the opposition in the posture. Heels are drawing down. We're reaching through the hands and the feet, sits bones lifting away from the crown of the head. Beautiful. Take another full breath here. Let's exhale it completely. Bend the knees, step, walk or hop to the top, halfway lift, forward fold, inhale all the way up. Beautiful. We'll cactus our hands, our heart is lifted, full breath in, and forward fold, Uttanasana. So we'll take one more round of that sequence. Step or jump those feet back, high to low. Beautiful. A cobra or up dog. We'll meet in downward dog, eyes towards the back of the mat. Last time, the right leg lifts. We bend the knees, stack those hips. Extend that right leg, step it into warrior 1. Come all the way up. We blossom open into warrior 2. Reverse the flow on the inhale. Back through warrior 2. Forearm on thigh, left arm up and over. And we'll come back into warrior 2 and cycle through your vinyasa. Nice. Right leg back, high to low. A cobra or upward dog. We'll meet in downward dog. Pause and breathe. Last side, the left leg lifts. We bend the knees, stack the hips. Left leg extends. We lightly step it forward into that warrior 1. Big breath in. Open into warrior 2. Reverse on the inhale. Back into warrior 2. Then forearm on thigh, right arm up and over. Back into warrior 2. Nice. Your vinyasa. Left leg back, high to low. A cobra or up dog. We'll meet in downward dog. Pause and breathe. Shake out that head. Find that breath. Slowing everything down, working on that equal inhalation as your exhalation. We'll take those toes into a center line. That right leg lifts. Again, we bend the knee, stack those hips, stay here, or we find our wild thing. So that right leg comes to the ground, our feet are rooted, our hips are lifted, and we take that right hand up and over. So notice if your knees are splaying out, you want to connect with that core. Now everyone lift those hips, that front body 1 more centimeter. And we'll watch that right hand as it comes to the floor. Let's take that right leg up. We'll just shake it out. And like leaves falling from a tree, it just slowly shakes down to the ground. We find our way into downward dog. Other side, that left leg lifts. We bend the knees, stack the hips. Beautiful to stay right here, or take that left foot to the floor. Feet are rooted, That left hand lifts up and over. Open up that chest, opening up that heart space. Now lift that front body one more inch. Beautiful. With control, that left hand comes to the mat. That left leg comes back up in the air. And again, we just shake it out like leaves falling from a tree. It slowly comes to the ground. And then we'll drop our knees to the ground. Child's pose. Really nice work this morning. Hips heavy. And again, exploring that heart space. So you can take the forehead to the floor, always an option to take it to a brick. We'll come onto those elbows and just melt the heart. Maybe bringing your chin towards the floor for some of you. So never straining or moving that neck in any position that cuts off your breath. So always honor the body. The Sanskrit word ahimsa, meaning non-violence. Non-violence in our yoga practice, non-violence in our life. Taking self-care and just honoring our limitations where our body is in this moment. So we'll remember that intention we set at the beginning of class, or our mantra, our dedication, whatever it is, just acknowledging it. Beautiful. And then we'll find our way back into our downward dog. So eyes towards the back of the mat. Shake out that head, lifting through those sits bones. Take another full breath in here. On an exhale, we bend the knees. We step, walk, or hop to the top of the mat. Halfway lift. Forward fold, Uttanasana. Now we find that chair. Our heart is lifted. The palms towards that center line. Notice where those hands are. We want to lift them up towards our ears. And now we'll take that right elbow underneath our left. Weight into that left foot. Let's just lift that right thigh. Take it back to the ground. So finding that core action. Again, that left or that right knee lifts. The right foot is rooted. Take it down. One more time, we lift that knee. Now take it up, over. Maybe you wrap those toes. And notice if you're leaning forward. That's our tendency. You want to tuck that tail and find that tall spine. Soften through those shoulders. And we lift those elbows. So just find that peripheral vision outside of your hands. Keep tracking those knees to the right. Maybe bending through that left knee. Find that breath. Beautiful. One more inhale here. On an exhale, we're just going to unwrap that right leg and find our Eagle Warrior 3. Breathing here. That left knee is bent. One more inhale. Finish that exhale. Now we lift that right knee one more time. Wrap it around, find that eagle. Beautiful, and then we'll release. Full breath in. Bring your hands to heart center, Samastitihi. Beautiful, and we'll take the other side. So let me turn this way. Let's find our fingers to the floor. We'll pause here in a moment into our chair pose. So maybe take a wider stance here. Notice what that does to your chair. And our arms, are they out in front? We want to lift them up. Take those floating ribs back. Beautiful. Now that left elbow comes underneath the right. Feet are rooted. Weight into that right foot. We're just going to lift that left knee. Find the balance here. Beautiful. Take it back down. We're breathing and lifting. Find that connection here, that balance. Beautiful. We take it back down. You guys look awesome. So one more time. That left knee lifts. Take it over the right thigh. Maybe explore the wrap around that back calf. And notice how you're seated. A lot of us take that weight forward. Our tailbone tucks under. You've got that imaginary line. Breathing here. Squeeze those thighs together. Find that peripheral vision outside the hands. Beautiful. One more breath here. Then with control, we unwrap that left leg, finding Virabhadrasana 3. Let me open up the door for the cat. One more breath here. Beautiful. With control, we take that left thigh up and over. Again, left thigh on top of the right. Pause here. And let's release. Arms reach up. And we'll take our prayer to our heart center. Samastitihi. So just slowing everything down here. Just taking a moment. Reconnecting with that breath. And we'll flutter those eyelids open. We're going to take that eagle position one more time. So we find our way into that chair position. Right arm underneath the left. On the inhale, right thigh up and over. Wrap the toes behind the calf if it's available, and then we move those knees into that center position. So lift those elbows, press the forearms towards the front of the space. And we'll take one more Virabhadrasana 3. The leg unwraps. We pitch our hearts forward, lift those toes. Beautiful. And with control, we take that right thigh back up and over, working on our balance this morning. Nice. And then just release everything. Full breath in. Hands to our heart center. Samastitihi. Equal standing pose. So other side, we find our way into chair. Reach our heart high. Left elbow underneath the right. Weight into that right foot. Left thigh up and over. Find that wrap if it's available. We spin those knees into the center. Lift those elbows. Press your forearms towards the front of your space. So nice. Now let's unwrap that top thigh. Finding our warrior 3 with the eagle arms. Beautiful. Lift that leg higher, everyone. And with control, we find that wrap. Nice. And inhale. And we'll bring our prayer to our heart center. Samastitihi. Pause and breathe. Slow down that breath. Let's lick our lips. And we'll flutter those eyelids open. Just shake out that extra energy. We're going to find our way into goddess pose with our feet. So our feet are at a 45-degree angle. Going to drop into those hips. And we're going to take our hands behind our head. Interlace your fingers. Elbows are wide here. So you want to settle into those hips. And we're going to take that right elbow towards our right knee. Back to center. Left elbow to our left knee. Back to center. Keep your elbows where they are. We just twist to the right. And we'll twist to the left. We're breathing. Right elbow, right knee. Left elbow, left knee. We twist to the right and left. We'll take this 3 more times. So maybe you need to take a wider stance with the knees. We're just twisting and breathing 2 more times. So you just go as far as you can go on those side bends. Take your time spinning, opening up those side waists a little greater, working on our abs. Nice. We'll take a spin to the right, a spin to the left, and let's just release our hands and cross our hearts. You know where we're going, moving through time and space. So that right elbow to the right knee, our chest is parallel, left shoulder, left knee, back to center. Just rotating the body in the opposite direction. Find that core, working on our inner thighs, and we come back to neutral. Now I invite you to close your eyes and do it. So just find that movement through space. Maybe it's a little shaky. When we find that internal vision, last side, left shoulder, left knee. So we're always finding openings, doing different postures, mixing it up. We'll flutter our eyelids open. Let's release our hands, straighten through those thighs. Nice. Heel toe those feet together. Samasthiti. And let's cycle through vinyasa. A full breath in, melting forward. We find that halfway lift. Please step or jump those feet back. High to low plank. A cobra or upward dog. Downward dog, pause and breathe. So that right leg lifts. One more time, we bend the knees, stack the hips. That right leg extends, and we'll find the runner's lunge. So left knee to the floor, untuck the toes, open up the collarbones, and melt through the hips. So we're gonna work on Hanumanasana, our splits this morning, but let's just take our hands first on that thigh. Notice if you're leaning forward, you wanna take a nice tall spine. And again, we'll lift our arms up and take them to the side so we can melt our heart forward. So soften through the jaw, just bending into that right knee. Beautiful. Now our arms reach up high, take them outside of the front foot, draw those hips back, stack the hip over that knee, and flex those right toes. So making this a moving posture. Our heart lifts on the inhale, soften the knee on the exhale, draw your chin down. So we breathe in, and breathe out, flexing those right toes, 3 more like that. Really warming up those hamstrings for our Hanumanasana. Inhale, we melt forward. One more inhale, we find that halfway lift. Chin towards that shin. Now a deep bend in that right knee. Hands outside that front foot. And again, we'll just draw those hips back, flex those right toes. Last deep bend in that right knee, your version of Hanumanasana. So walking that right foot forward. Maybe the leg just comes out here. You can support it with the brick. Play your edge. So hand support. My right hip likes to blossom forward. So I'm trying to draw that right leg back. Just let the body settle. Notice where you're holding in the body. So sending the breath to that areas. Nice. Couple more breaths here. We'll take a final full inhale. Complete that exhalation. So those left toes tuck under. And in one movement, that right leg lifts up. And just like those leaves, we just let that leg shake all the way down like those fallen leaves into our downward dog. Other side, the left leg lifts. We bend the knee, stack those hips. Left leg extends, and we find that low lunge. Hands outside the front foot, and take that right knee to the earth. We untuck the toes. So those toes are spread wide. We take our hands on that left thigh. Notice if you're leaning forward, again, you want that tall spine. And we'll just take our arms up. Breathe in here. And let's just cactus our hands, reach our heart forward. Maybe gaze up towards the sky. Beautiful, extend those arms. Now take them outside the front foot. Draw those hips back, flex those left toes. So that right shin is rooting. I've got a bit of a distance between my knee and heel that gives you that groundedness. And we'll make this a moving meditation. So pull those shoulders away from your ears. We find that inhale here. On the exhale, I bend my elbows, bringing my chin closer to that left shin. Inhale, we lift. We lower on the exhale. So it's a very subtle move, but you can really feel it in your hamstrings. Flexing those toes. Again, we're just opening up our body. Let's take one more. We breathe in, we find that length. We soften and let go on the exhale. Now a deep bend in that left knee, option to stay right here. It's a beautiful stretch, or Hanumanasana. Walk that left foot forward. Settle into your version of the splits. So one side may be easier than the other. This side is a little easier for me this morning, but again, my left hip wants to come forward. So I'm drawing it back. I don't go down as far, which is fine. Now, where can you soften in the body here? Maybe your jaw is gripping, or maybe you've lost that tracing of the breath in and out through the nose. So find that breath. You guys are so amazing. Wonderful. Take another inhale. We let it go. We tuck the right toes under. In one movement, that left leg lifts. We just allow those toes to fall to the ground, finding that downward dog position. Inhale to high plank. 5 counts to lower all the way to the floor. Elbows hug in. 5, 4, 3, 2, on 1. Untuck the toes. Hands in line with your chest. So we're going to explore that baby cobra, that expanded baby cobra one more time. So two versions. The first version, the one we usually do, the elbows hug in. Inhale, we just lift the heart. Now forehead to the floor. Squeeze those elbows in one more time. We find that baby cobra. Forehead down. Now I take my hands outside the mat. They're on the finger pads. We lift and find that more upward baby cobra. And I'm just going to look over the right shoulder and over the left. Right, I'm massaging kind of that heart space, opening up the head and neck. Beautiful. And lower down. We'll take one more just like that. Finger pads root, the tops of the feet root. We press up, soften those shoulders. So just finding maybe a little extra lift. There's no straining. And just gaze over the right shoulder, over the left. It's maybe like a figure 8. Just lubricating the shoulders. Beautiful. And we'll come all the way down, setting up our Shalabhasama. So we'll take our back of our hands towards our floor. We'll just start by lifting our chest. We're so warm. So the tops of the feet root, the back of our hands root, and we just peel our chest off the floor. And slowly lower down. Take that left ear down. Pause and breathe here. And we'll come back to neutral, taking one more Shalabhasana this way. So just initiating the heart lifting, feet are rooted. We take that right ear down. So warming up that lower back. We're not straining. So option here to interlace your hands behind your back. Maybe you just find that strap. We're going to add the thighs. So we start by peeling the chest off the floor, fingers towards our heels, then take your thighs off the floor. So we lift our hearts, we lift our thighs, we lift our heart, lift those thighs. We're breathing, lift everything up, nice. Gently lower down. You can release the grip on your interlaced fingers. Left ear down, pause and breathe. Just melt into the floor. And we'll come back to neutral. One more Shalabhasana. So if you can remember to put the opposite thumb on top, find that grip, please, fingers interlace. We start by taking the chest off the floor, lift those thighs, reach your hands, the fingers towards the heels. We're going to open up those legs the width of your mat, and then we squeeze them together. We're breathing, opening and squeezing. 3 more. Inhale, exhale. We open and squeeze. You're doing great, Bill. One more time. We open, squeeze, let go, right ear to the floor. Maybe a heavy sigh. And a deep bend in those knees. We windshield wiper those feet side to side. And using the momentum of the motion of our legs, let's just rotate onto our backs. Hug those knees in. And give yourself a nice hug. So finding opposite elbows, maybe just wrists or fingers. Squeeze those knees in. And then we'll stretch out our neck one more time by drawing our forehead towards our knees. And taking that head back towards the floor, we're going to interlace our hands behind our head again. And we'll start with taking our bicycle. So always a couple of versions here to take. Knees bent, or finding those straight legs. Whatever works better for you. We're taking our time, finding that breath, really reaching as far as you can. Get about 30 more seconds here. So maybe you want to go a little faster. Warming up that core. Last 10 seconds here, pouring on that speed. Nice work, Becky, Tanya, Carly, Stacy, keep going. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, on 1. Hug those knees in. And we'll cactus those hands out to the side. Let's drop the knees to the right. And take your gaze over the opposite shoulder. Melt the body. And if your knees, well, our knees are bent, just maybe explore unhinging those knees, reaching the toes towards the corner of the mat. So notice if that left hip is reaching up, you can bring your hand in the side and kind of pull that hip away, feeling that gorgeous side body stretch. And we'll bend those knees again, take them back to center, and we'll take them in the opposite direction. So maybe take your gaze over the other side. And before we straighten out the legs, just let the body soften. Relax the face. You can unhinge those legs. Sorry, Bill. So straightening through those legs. Nice, and we'll take those knees, bend them back in towards your chest, and finding figure 4, opening up our hips a little more, so that right ankle on our left thigh, we interlace underneath the knee or the thigh, just hug that left knee in, we flex those feet, keep that right knee opening, you can engage that elbow to push it away as we squeeze that left knee a little closer. Let's lick our lips again. Maybe clean your teeth. Just soften your eyes here. Let the eyeballs go really heavy in the sockets. See if you can soften those eye muscles as you keep squeezing that left knee in. The shoulders pull away from your ears. Beautiful. We'll unwrap that right leg. Just draw those knees back in. Maybe flex those feet. And we'll take the other side, the other hip opener. So the left ankle on the right knee. Interlace the fingers. And if this posture isn't open your hips enough, you could just take regular pigeon on the ground. So towards the end of class, we like to slow things down. So I'd like to be on my back body. Lengthening my inhalation and exhalation. Keeping that left elbow, opening that left knee away from the body. Beautiful. Another full breath in here. We let it go. And releasing that grip. Let's take the soles of our feet together. Find your hands on your ankles, elbows inside those knees. Those heels are coming into our inner groins. And then we'll find the inner arches with our hands and find our happy baby. So just rocking that back body, massaging, giving a little love to that back body. And then find stillness in that downward dog. In thank you. In the happy baby. And last posture is we're just going to shake everything out before our Shavasana. So arms and legs are shaking. Last 10 seconds, all that extra energy, we're going to let it go until we finally just shake everything down into our Shavasana as we turn our palms up towards the sky. Allow yourself to settle in and let go. Finding that incoming breath. Gently side out. And stretch those arms up overhead. We're pointing through the fingers and the toes. And then we'll gather all that energy up as we hug those knees back into our chest. Maybe rock a little side to side until you find yourself on either side of the mat. And just pause there for a moment or two. And we'll find our way to a comfortable seated position. Eyes soft or closed. While the outer breath brings nourishment to the body, the inner breath carries vital quality of enlightenment to our whole being. It's what we're cultivating in our yoga class, and what I invite you to, what we've cultivated, if you can bring some of that out after class into the world, that more connectedness to your breath, the presence, just opening up the body and the quieting of the mind. So we'll seal class off with one beautiful Om, the vibration of Om. Please sip in the inhalation. Om. The light within me honors and recognizes the light within all of you. Thank you for a perfect yoga class, and namaste. Thank you, everyone. So glad to have you back. You love the music, but I missed my husband. He's been gone for a couple classes, but thank you all for joining. There's the grandfather clock.
Thanks, Amy.
Thank you. Have a great day. Hope to see you on Thursday. And thanks again, everyone.